Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. Guess what happened? LeBron James won the gold medal, and I got to see LeBron James play this last year. It really was amazing. The guy can take over a game, right? Not many people can do that, and he took over the game. And you knew he was going to score, and he did. And he did. He was shooting I mean, a guy who's that big shooting 3-pointers and can go in and dominate in the paint. Mm-hmm. He's the only one, I think. But anyway, so they won the gold medal. Now I didn't see any of those games. I'm glad they won the gold medal because you want to. It sucks that the rest of the world is getting very good at basketball like the United States. But here, people were upset at him because he pushes this kid away. So he's going to some party to celebrate the gold medal win. Did you see this, Kurt, on Twitter?
No.
Here it is. So that's not him. Here he comes. And this kid's waiting for him. And he's like, hey, can we get a picture?
Make space, guys, for King. Make space.
And he tells him, get the F out of there. So here.
Wow.
Did you see that? Here, I'll show it again. So the kid's got a phone, and everybody's got a phone, and he's like, hey, can we get a picture? And he goes, hey, don't do that.
Guys, for King.
Well, here's what he says. I got a better angle. Here's what he says.
Congratulations, LeBron.
Stop. Don't do that.
Congratulations.
So did you see that? I go, stop. Don't do that.
Oh, I should have said that to Tim Duncan.
Yeah, you should have. That's right.
Congratulations, LeBron.
Stop. Don't do that.
Congratulations, LeBron. Champion!
So now a lot of people are giving him a hard time about that. He's catching a lot of flack. Now,
yeah, he does worse stuff than that. What do you think? That's his worst thing about him?
I don't know much about LeBron.
I know stuff about him. Yeah, I know stuff. I'm not gonna say it on here, but I know stuff.
Are you kidding?
Not at all. I don't follow basketball, but listen. If you hero worship LeBron, you deserve to feel bad. I'll put it that way. It's like worshiping Kobe. Remember the Kobe thing where that woman that accused him, they said she had 7 other guys' DNA in her all that stuff that I believed at the time. No, his defense team made that up. That was a lie. So fuck him. Like, stop worshiping sports people. They're like, what? Like, they're like, when I say degenerate, and I don't mean anything gay, I just mean they're like, it's just this depraved, like, demigod thing. It's gross. It's gross. And you should feel bad. You should go, hey, this is not my hero. This is just some guy. That's what that kid just said. The whole Olympics is gross.
Yes. I mean, because I think Muhammad Ali, he was kind of a hero.
You know what I like about him? I didn't know this, but he wrote to Mary Jo Kopechnia's parents after Ted Kennedy left her to drown. He wrote a personal thing to her parents about, hey, that's not cool. Like,
really?
He was like a guy. Yeah, he's a guy that individually cared about people for sure.
I think Muhammad Ali is worth the. If you're
gonna, he didn't go to Vietnam. Good for him.
And I just loved everything that he said, the way he said it. Mm-hmm. Even now I go back and I watch videos of him on YouTube of him talking about the race issue back then and how his perspective and how Vietnamese never did anything to me. You know who's doing something? People right here.
Yeah, that's great. The guy, Joe Frazier. Did you watch that document about them in the jungle, Rumble in the Jungle?
Yes.
And Joe Frazier was blind in one eye, but he wanted to fight that bad because Muhammad Ali was trashing him so bad.
Yeah. Wasn't that the Thriller in Manila?
I thought it was Rumble in the Jungle, if I remember correctly.
I thought who did he? That's when he fought George Foreman, right? Wasn't that the Rumble in the Jungle?
No. Oh, maybe you're right, and I'm wrong. But it was a George. What's his name? Not Foreman. I just said it. Frazier.
Yeah.
The hits that Muhammad took. I mean, this is what they said, and they implied in the documentary is the hits from working up Joe, because Joe Frazier came from like real bad black background where he was and Muhammad Ali was calling him like an Uncle Tom kind of and hitting him like that, and it was so he was blind in one eye. I was like, I'm gonna hit this dude, and then Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's not long after that.
Yeah, it turns out it's not good to get hit in the head, and
it's terrible.
And football players are finding that out, and
I mean, it's terrible in football. You didn't need it. Well, I'm not going to do the joke. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, but I don't. So all I'm saying is, I know somebody one time. I'm not judging LeBron James off of that because I don't know. I don't know what just happened to him before that. I don't know how many people came up to him. I don't know if that kid had came up to him before. I don't know what's going on. Right.
Mhm.
But I remember someone told me a story about Billy Crystal, who I love Billy Crystal. Right. He's I love his movies. I think he's hilarious. Especially the one he did with Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah, right. Once it was weird, like Sopranos kind of.
It was so funny, but somebody said, "Yeah, I don't like Billy Crystal. He's a dick." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" Well, my cousin is a doorman at a hotel in San Francisco. And one day he was walking out, and my cousin said, "Hello, Mr. Crystal," and he just walked right past him and didn't say anything. And I'm
That's
like,
not enough. That's not enough to go on.
I'm like, first of all, you don't know what just happened to him. Maybe he just got a phone call that his mother died. Maybe he just got a phone call that he lost a part in a movie he was planning on for his whole life. Maybe he just got in an argument with his wife, and he's and he just,
you need a bunch of stories that pile up. Like everybody has a bad moment,
right?
You know. So, but and I don't think people. I know, like I told you, cancel culture is dead because of October 7th. But people generally, like, someone might have a story about you, but like they got to pile up for it to really, make it. And,
so
I mean, LeBron has a lot of stories about him and he sucks.
I don't know any of those. Isn't that funny? That's how out of touch I am. I don't know any of those stories,
dude. He was all like, I mean. He's all aboard. I'm sure he's going to disappoint you like Jesse Ventura and Kamala too. I promise you that.
It's a heartbreaker.
He's a big pro censorship guy, but like, well, you could look it up. It's all
LeBron. LeBron is pro censorship.
Oh yeah.
No, didn't. Oh no, that was who was wasn't sure about taking the vaccines? Was that?
It wasn't LeBron.
Was that Shaquille O'Neal? I thought it was Shaquille O'Neal. He was saying,
LeBron's a good boy that does what he should. Within the worst possible way, is what I thought.
So
but I'm no basketball fan.
I always thought LeBron was this guy. Right? Look, let me.
Kyrie Irving.
See, look, he's hugging the kids. See,
they about to all get up now.
See. Look how happy those kids are to see him.
Now wait, is that to hold on? Is that to console the kids of Cleveland when he broke his promise to them? Left him. Hey guys, I'm sorry. It's a lot of money. You know, it's just basketball. Grow up.
Hey, I want to get a championship. I got to get the hell out of Cleveland.
Yeah, and just also you should get out of Cleveland. Don't stay in Cleveland.
I played her long enough. All right, isn't that enough? How long you want me to play her?
I made a promise, but I got kids I don't see.
He made a promise.
You don't remember any of this?
No.
South Park made fun of it really well. Is when the Gulf spill happened, and LeBron had this Nike commercial. What should I do? Because he had broken his big
what was his promise?
To not leave until Cleveland had
Cleveland had a championship.
Yeah, he made you didn't have to make a goddamn blood oath.
Yeah,
and so the fans were mad at him because he left because they offered him a lot of money. It was like, oh well, screw Cleveland. And everyone has said screw Cleveland, but he made this big to do of not saying that, of not doing that. So South Park made fun of him pretty funny. They had Cartman going, "What should I do?"
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns, they left Cleveland in the middle of the night. I remember that. That's when I still followed sports.
That's how my family left Cleveland. At the dead of night, we got out of there. Yeah, everyone should.
They did. They loaded up their trucks and left in the middle of the night, so nobody. Anyway, I always think of him as this guy. Let me play a little bit more of this. See, look at how happy these kids are.
I know. So, hey, you know what? That's a great photo op, and that's why he does it. And what do you think he cares about your kids? Shut up. Why are people so fooled by this nonsense?
Well, I don't understand why, if you're a great athlete, why you also have to be a great person. Right? Like,
I know why. For endorsements and movies.
Oh, that's why.
What are you going to be, an athlete like an idiot that long?
That's right.
Before your body's ruined. I
mean,
you should get the hell out and make movies, right?
I mean, Babe Ruth was was drunk all the time, right? Nobody gave a shit, right? He could hit home runs.
Yeah, and probably much worse stuff. What do you think? Dude, listen, these athletes are depraved. I know firsthand.
Lou Gehrig, I think, and Babe Ruth, correct me if I'm wrong, they hated each other.
Is that true?
I remember seeing some kind of documentary where Babe Ruth would be hitting a home run, and then Lou Gehrig would be like taking practice swings up near first base, so he didn't have to congratulate him when he came to home.
Was he just jelly because Babe Ruth did all them drugs and he didn't get a disease named after him? It should be Babe Ruth disease. It's not fair. I would resent them too.
I don't know, but anyway, that's I don't pass judgment on LeBron for that.
No, that's probably one of the least shitty things he ever did. I would bet. I don't think that's because you have that, especially that, and I mean, look, if I was him, I would have been sorry, man. I can't. I would have a little ounce of it. I think but I'm not that popular, so I don't know what it's like.
I mean, well, here it is one more time.
Congratulations, LeBron.
Stop. Don't do that.
Congratulations, LeBron.
I mean, it seems a little bit over. I mean, but you don't know what. Again, you don't know what just happened to him. You don't know.
He's done plenty of more things to be. If you're going to be like this, tears it. I don't. Whatever your dumb opinion, it doesn't matter. By the way, that's the one that that's the final straw. Was that? These all these other things.
You ever see that George Carlin, his story about Danny Kaye? You ever heard that story?
No.
Danny Kaye was his hero. He wanted to be Danny Kaye, right? So Danny Kaye was the funny guy in the movies. And so I guess he was doing a Broadway play, and George Carlin went by the artist entrance, and he waited for him afterwards because he wanted to get his autograph or something. And Danny Kaye came out. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Kaye," and Danny Kaye says, "Get away from me, kid!" And he just goes right, and it broke his heart. Heart.
You know what I realized? George Carlin's an ingrate because it could have been a lot worse. He could have said, "Hey, come up to my hotel room, kid," because that's usually what they do. So I think we should appreciate LeBron not dragging a boy into his lair more than anything with this video.
So so when I went to Big Bear this last weekend, there was at the Airbnb I was staying at, there was a book. It was called Final Words. It's from George Carlin. I didn't even know that book existed. And I was like, what? How did I pick the right Airbnb or what? Right? Like that's the book they have sitting on their coffee table. And so I started reading it. It was fast. Again, it was more. He really had an insight into a lot of things, and especially about performing and being a comedian.
When did it come out?
He wrote it with some other guy. It came out. I don't know. Let's Google it. When did George Carlin Final Words? When was it published? In 2009. November 10th, 2009. So I think he was already dead when it got published. Right?
Good. Yeah. Because they can't remember his I Love a Good. They had to erase it out of his last special. It was 9/11.
Yeah. I love it when a lot of people die or something. That was supposed to be the name of his special, and then the day before it was supposed to be released, 9/11 happened. So they had this scrap happen.
2008, June 22nd.
Okay, so that came out like a year after he died. Boy, I wish he was still around. I really do, because I don't think I don't think half of this shit that has happened would have happened if he was around, especially in comedy. You wouldn't have asshole comedians telling you don't do your own research. George Carlin has a bit where
they would trash him like they did Cleese and Chappelle and all the other people that didn't go along. They'd trash him all the same. There ain't no one guy that they're not going to trash when it's that big of stakes. Comedy is important. I didn't know. I thought it was like, why would you need to censor comedians? But apparently
it's really important.
Yeah. And the only reason I'm saying that is because the amount of bullshit directed at it,
Yes, I do know. Hey, the ability to provide for your family has changed quite a bit in the last couple of years. When you go shopping, you're getting less, but you're spending more. You have to decide what to buy and what to do without. And when you get to the checkout, you're swiping your credit card and putting it in that never-ending cycle of credit card interest accruing every month. There's got to be a better way. Well, there is. and it's with American Financing. If you're a homeowner, they will take all of that equity that you've built up and use it to pay off your high interest credit cards. They are saving their customers an average of $854 a month, and they are closing some as in fast as 10 days. So start today, and you may be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. Call American Financing today at 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303, or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Jimmy. Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.